Here he is. Uncle Barry, how are you? Still come to the same. Yeah, how are you? It's with the same beautiful blonde person at the auction. She wants to buy under. That's Chris, my wife. You met her. Shake hands. We had a service last week. We had a service hard to believe. No? Okay. Not to be repeated. Well, I can think of no better way to get a better return from a bank than to actually buy it. I think it's fairly safe to say, ladies and gentlemen, and I don't think I'm putting myself out on a limb too much by saying that yield buying this today than you will on a term deposit. My name's Ralph Soldier, and on behalf of our vendor and the team at Waddell, a very warm welcome to the auction of 111 to 115 Main Street here in Croydon. Ladies and gentlemen, we are selling the property today on behalf of our vendor, the property being described in a single certificate of title, volume 9972, folio 012, the land together with any improvements more commonly known simply to you and I as 111 to 115 Main Street here in Croydon. We sell the property with all improvements and fixtures, terms, 10% deposit, balance in a very flexible 60 or 90 days. The property is being sold subject to a lease to the Australian New Zealand Banking Group Limited. They have been in occupation here for 30 odd years, and we are selling it on a new lease that was struck actually during COVID this year, May 2020, for a 3-year term with 3 further 2-year options on a passing rent of some $125,000. Tenant is responsible for all the statutory outgoings, including land tax on a single holding basis. The reviews are 3% annual with a market review at the commencement of each of the option periods. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that brings us to the auction rules, something I know we're all quite familiar with, or certainly those who attend auctions regularly enough, but we are obliged by law to run through them, and they are as follows. The property today is offered for sale by public auction. Subject to the vendor's reserve price, the highest bidder, whose bid is accepted by me as the auctioneer, shall be the purchaser. If any dispute arises, the bidding, I'll put the property up again at the last undisputed bid. I'll determine the minimum and maximum amounts by which the bidding may be advanced. Once a bid's been made, it may not be retracted. Please note, the auction's being conducted in accordance with the rules and any additional conditions that have been made available since before the start of the auction. The vendors have a reserve price. As the auctioneer, I will indicate bidders upon request. The law prohibits false bids, prohibits major disruption by bidders, and prohibits bidders from preventing others from bidding, and provides fines for this conduct. The rules permit vendor bids. The words I will use during the auction to indicate I'm making a bid on behalf of the vendor are vendor bid. By law only I, as the auctioneer, may make a vendor bid. Please note, ladies and gentlemen, that we cannot accept late bids. That means if I bring my hand down to indicate the property is sold, it is indeed deemed to be sold. I cannot reopen the auction again. Having said that, we'll give each and every one of you ample opportunity to put your hand up or indicate your interest in the property. Finally, the purchaser will be the person to whom the property is knocked down. They'll be required to pay a deposit equivalent to 10% of the purchase price upon signing of the contract. The property is, or auctions being conducted on a GST exclusive basis. However, in accordance with the going concern provision contained within the script conditions, you may well be able to rely upon those. That brings us to the vendor's statement, or section 32 as it's otherwise referred, the all-important certificate of title, indicating that we have an expansive frontage of 15.24 metres to Main Street here. We have 38 metres and 44 metres on each side of the bank itself, and obviously the car park at the rear, which I'll touch on in a moment. But the overall land footprint is a very impressive 617 square metres of commercial one-zoned land. All the outgoings are clearly enunciated within the Section 32 statement, and finally, Vic Roads have no proposals to run a freeway down the middle of Main Street, which I'm sure will impress many of you if you're buying today. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's long been known that the best position to park yourself if you're a retail tenant is next to a bank. So how do we describe the bank? It would have to be the best position, bar none. Well, what you're joining in Main Street, Croydon, is not only an opportunity to purchase a bank, an institution that has been here for 30 years and has recommitted to the property during COVID for a further 3 years with options. That is a commitment, obviously, in terms of the location and the presence within the strip. But they're not alone. You are joining a strip, or you are purchasing within a strip that has everything to offer in terms of retail offerings. You've got the 5 banks, not only 4 but 5. You've got Chemist Warehouse, all the household names, Bottle Mart. You've got Camera House, and of course you've got Subway, and the list goes on. Flight Centre up the road when they can open. But the reality is that it's always important to buy in a centre that has activity. And I don't know about you, but as I pulled up today, I had to struggle to find a parking spot. That is a good sign. That is a wonderful sign and a wonderful underpinning of the strength of Main Street, Croydon. Ladies and gentlemen, the property itself, a Part 2 level retail bank. As I said, they've been here for 30 years. The opportunity for you down the track when you buy it today, even if they were to move out, is knowing that you have 617 square metres of commercial land situated in the heart of Main Street. And we add to that the fact that it has a thoroughfare through to the rear, and they are building a multi-deck car park at that rear. Imagine the passing trade that is going to be walking up and down that laneway adjacent to our property as we speak today. That's scheduled for 12 months hence. And obviously, as I said, if the bank were to go down the track at some stage, you have the opportunity to redevelop this, stamp your mark. Great opportunity for retailing, not only across the front but down the side, potentially subject to council approval, and who knows what you might do above. But the reality is, you're not just buying a passive investment if you don't want to. But all that said and done, the ANZ, they're here, they're committed, and that's what you're bidding on today, ladies and gentlemen, that opportunity. I think I've said plenty. I think we all know where interest rates sit at the moment. We all know certainly where term deposit rates sit. But ladies and gentlemen, if you're here to bid, all the very best. I'm in your hands. The question obviously I have to ask, as every auctioneer does, is how are you feeling? No. Where do we start? Opening bid. What can I see? 111 to 115. Main Street here in Croydon. Let's get underway. Great to be able to take a break after that. Two what, sir? 2 million. Well, yeah, we can't actually split the building, but yep, okay, that's a good start. 2 million we'll take. At $2 million, I'm looking for a $100,000 rise now. At 2, can I say 2.1 anywhere at all? Should be a sea of hands. At $2 million, can I see 2.1 anywhere at all now? At $2 million, could be a very quick auction. This gentleman will be having a lovely chat with us afterwards at this rate. At $2 million, can I see 2.1 anywhere at all? At $2 million, looking for 2.1. This is what I love about the auction system. Everybody waits for everybody else, and even when someone sings it out, they go, I'm not going with him. No, I'll wait. I'll wait and see what everyone else does. At $2 million, we know there are buyers here today, but that's okay. At $2 million, can I see 2.1 anywhere at all? 2.1, no? 2.2, okay, we'll take that. 2.2 I have. At 2.2, looking for 2.3, can I say? At $2.2 million on the left. At 2,200,000, looking for 2.3 now, anywhere at all. At 2.2, I'm fairly big. At $2,200,000, then calling it 3 times once. I can assure you, ladies and gentlemen, we're not selling it at this rate, so if you are serious about buying it, you might want to put your hand up. $2.2 million then twice. At 2.2, third and final call, finished, silent and done. At $2,200,000. Well, clearly I know nothing about real estate if that's where you're all stopping at that point, ladies and gentlemen. $125,000 worth of net income, and we're at $2.2 million now. Happy to play the game, got plenty of time. The closest thing to a holiday I'll get is a suntan standing here. So at $2.2 million in your hands, further 100 anywhere at all, happy for you to take your time and think. Got all day. At 2.2, 3 if you like. As I said, have a look at the size of the allotment you're buying, have a look at the covenant that you've got, listed on our stock exchange, top 100 companies, $125,000 of net income. At $2.2 million, then once, twice, third and final call, finished, done, no further advance at $2.2 million. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we'll just take a moment. Thank you. Thanks for your patience, ladies and gentlemen. At $2.2 million, just confirm your bid. Thank you. Very simply, we're not selling at that level, and I don't think there's any surprise. I know what we've been quoting. You know what we've been quoting. I can put in a vendor bid. That's fine. Not a problem. I prefer not to. It's your option. It's up to you to tell me what you want to pay. And if you've already told me, well, then I will have to put a vendor bid in. I'll put it back to you for your competition. As I said, it's your bid. It's your auction. It's your competition. Over to you at 2.2. There's your competition on the left. Looking for 2.3 now, anywhere at all. At 2.2, I'm fairly big. Been waiting for the half-time break. It's come. It's gone. At $2,200,000, can I see 2.3 now, anywhere at all? At $2.2 million, looking for 3 anywhere at all now. 2.2 I have. 2.2 fairly big. 2.3 can I see? Once. Twice. Yep. 2.3 now. At 2.4 I've got. At 2.4 I've got. At $2.4 million. At $2,400,000. I know where we're at. I mean, just keep close. At $2,400,000 against you now at 2.4. At 2.4, and we're looking at 5% yield, ladies and gentlemen. I told you it's going to be better than term deposit. At $2.4 million,
50.
knocking me down already. 2.45, I'll take that. 2.55, can I say? No, 2.5. And 50 again if you like. At 2.5, I'm big. At 2.5, fairly bid on my left 2 unit at this stage. At $2,500,000 then for the first call now at 2.5. Second at $2,500,000. We know there are more of you here. Not sure what you're waiting for, but you won't buy it by keeping your hands in your pocket and watching everybody else do the work. Particularly me. At 2.55 now, 2.6 I've got. At 2.6, at 2.6, like his tactic. At 2.6, he'll run out just like everybody else does at a point in time. At $2,600,000, fairly bid against you here. Back over there is where we've got the bid at 2.6 now. At $2,600,000 once.
Yes.
50. 7 I've got. At 2.7 on the left. Back where we started at 2.7. Don't let that intimidate you. At 2.7, it's all just bravado, it's personality, it's terrific, and we love it. At $2,700,000, bids on my left, primarily against you at this stage, anybody else who's waiting to join in. And we had an auction last week where that happened. At $2.7 million then, once. At 2.7 then, twice. At $2.7 million, third and final call.
Yep.
50. 2.8. Oh, we've run out. How about 25? Can I tempt you back at that? Well, yeah, okay. 2.275 million I've got. At $2,750,000, looking for a further 25. I'm happy to take that at this stage if it'll help proceedings. At $2,750,000, bids on my right, primarily against you, sir. Been with us all the way. Thank you for your participation. Love to see you back. At $2,750,000 then, first call. Second call at 2.75. One thing I will tell you, ladies and gentlemen, is I won't be nominating any bids on behalf of the vendor. If we get no further bidding, I will pass the property in to this couple here. They will have the exclusive and first right to treat with the vendor at the reserve price. At $2.75 million, Oh, no. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. Appreciate your attention. 2.8 million, just confirm your bid at 2.8. I have. Very simply, if we don't get any further advance on that, we will pass the property in. This couple will have the exclusive and first right to treat the vendors at the reserve price. And as has just been pointed out to me, when you look at what you can do down the track in terms of reversionary value, the bank at the moment is paying the princely sum of $300 a metre for the property that they occupy. So if you do the math and work out what you might be able to yield in terms of ground floor retail in years to come, whether it be a generation from now, whether it be earlier, who knows, there is definitely untapped value in this property beyond ANZ as a wonderful covenant for the next 3 to 9 years. Is that right? Yes. In your hands, back with you at $2.8 million. No further bidding, I will pass the property in. 2.8 once, 2.8 twice, at 2,800,000 for the third and final call. Finished, signed and done. Happy to take a 10 just to test it. Shouldn't leave it at 2.8 at a round number like that. That might be their limit. At 2.8, appreciate that. At $2.8 million, and I do appreciate your participation. They don't, but I do. At $2,800,000 then, if there's no further bidding, we will pass the property in, call it 3 more times, just in case you're considering it. Once, twice, third call now. No further advance at $2.8 million. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we will formally pass the property in on behalf of the vendor and the agents across Waddell. We thank you very much for your participation and your interest in the property. We'll be here for the next 20 minutes or so. Have a lovely afternoon.